In today's Leeds news, Lennon back at the club, DCL key to Leeds' survival hopes, fixtures moved for TV, this weekend's Leeds United results roundup, loan watch, and Nicola Krstovic makes Leeds United claim. Morning folks, welcome back to The View for Monday morning, the 22nd of September with your Leeds United news. Everything feels just a little bit better when Leeds United get 3 points and a very big win for the club over the course of the weekend. We had the instant match reaction, which is still available on the channel, and we will have a deeper talk about it tonight. Having watched it back a couple of times, might have changed my opinion on a few bits and pieces, but myself, Jerry McNamee and Paul Brook will be live from 7 o'clock tonight. You can check that out if you want. Also, we've got some new channel merch, back four merch, casually Leeds, although it's not this fancy in real life. It's just yellow because of the green screen. But you can check the link down below for that if you want to support the channel as well. Back four, and then you'll see the link, and that link will bring you into all the stuff there. Or no better, have stuff over there as well. Some really good merch. You can check that out if you want to. But let's start off with the first story and a return to Leeds United. And Johnny Howson returned to the club this summer to take on a player coaching role with the Leeds United Academy and pass on his knowledge to the current Leeds United youth group. But he has now been joined by another former Leeds United player. Aaron Lennon, former Leeds youth and Leeds first team player, has now rejoined the club in an official capacity as a Leeds under-18 coach. Lennon was pictured around about the end of last season around the under-18 side, and he was said at that point to be helping out, but he now moves into a more official role at the club. The former winger will take up a coaching position with the 18s alongside Rob Etherington as well as Alex Perver, and they'll be part of that coaching setup moving forward. And we're delighted to welcome Aaron Lennon back to Leeds United. It's great to see all of the older players starting to make their way back, the lads that came through. Aaron Lennon obviously played in the Premier League for Leeds and down in the Championship as well when Leeds got relegated during the first patch of bad times at Leeds in the recent history. But great to see him back at the club, and no doubt the young players there will take a huge amount from the experience and knowledge that Aaron Lennon can bring to them. Let's move on and talk about DCL, and he's been a very hot talking point over the course of this weekend. And Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, along with a whole host of pundits, have been discussing Dominic Calvert-Lewin this weekend and his importance to Leeds United. And speaking on The Rest is Football, both Shearer and Lineker believe that Calvert-Lewin will be vitally important for Leeds' hope of staying in the Premier League this season. Leeds currently have the same amount of wins at this point of the season as Southampton had in the entirety of last year, and the win over Wolverhampton Wanderers goes a long way towards moving Leeds into a slightly more comfortable position, and the importance of opening a gap against the sides, any side in the bottom three at this point of the season, is very important. Anton Stach as well as Noah Okafor scored their first goals in the Premier League in a Leeds United shirt, joined obviously by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but his goal and the importance of him to the side has been the talking point of many pundits over the course of the weekend. His fitness is obviously one of the main talking points, and keeping him fit and on the pitch. And Gary Lineker was talking about this, and Alan Shearer's response to Lineker's question mark around DCL fitness, Shearer said the following: "That's the big thing, staying fit with him. They can get balls up to him, into his feet, he can score goals, but it is a big if he can stay fit." So far, DCL is doing what is being asked of him. He's holding the ball up, he's bringing other players into the game, and he's been an outlet for Leeds to get out of pressure at times when they've had to be sitting back. His other job is to score some goals, and he started off that in his second start for the club. Everyone is very aware of the if surrounding Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but right now, in this moment, he is fit, he is healthy, and he has started scoring goals for Leeds United, and getting that monkey off his back will be hugely important for how he pushes forward for Leeds. Also, that goal against Wolverhampton Wanderers was his first goal in 7 career appearances against Wolves. So, and again, another one. The more he gets them stuff off his back, the better it's going to be for him. But I thought he was very good at the weekend. Did what he had to do. A bit isolated at times, but that was the nature of the game. But yeah, for me, very, very important. Great header. Absolutely great header. Beautiful ball by Jayden Bogle. No update, by the way, just yet on the injury to Jayden Bogle's foot, and we'll have to wait and see how that one goes. But we'll move on. We'll give you the roundup of the fixtures from the club this weekend. And Leeds United under-18s had a 2-1 away loss to Stoke City. Jack Morris scoring the goal for Leeds, but also saw the under-18 debut of Oliver Bennett, who moved up from the under-16 side for that game. Leeds under-17s had a 2-1 away win at Sunderland. Aidan Thompson and Carrick Njenko scoring for the under-17s. And the Leeds United women's side had a spectacular home win against Blackburn, running out 7-0 winners in that game. Well done to everyone involved. And let's talk about fixtures being moved for TV, and it's that time again as fixtures have started to be moved around for November, and Leeds will have 2 fixtures in November moved for TV, as well as other issues that are popping up in that month. One game is being moved for TV coverage, the other one has been moved for a separate reason, but will also then end up being broadcast on TV, and that's due to Nottingham Forest's involvement in European competition. The first game to be moved is from Saturday the 8th of November, is being moved to November 9th. That's the game against Nottingham Forest, and that will be shown on Sky Sports for a 2 p.m. kickoff. The second game to be moved is the first one after the international break, and it's Leeds versus Aston Villa. That will be moved to Sunday, November 23rd for a 2 p.m. kickoff, also being shown on Sky Sports. You can check them ones out. Let's move on and get into this week's Loan Watch. And we'll start with Max Verber, who is currently out with a hamstring injury and didn't take part for the second week with Werder Bremen. Isaac Schmidt came off the bench for Werder Bremen in their 3-0 defeat to Freiburg. He played 30 minutes in that game. Mateo Joseph was dropped to the bench for Mallorca in their home match against Atletico Madrid. He was an unused sub in the 1-1 draw at home. Joe Gelhardt started in Hull's 3-1 win over Southampton. He was taken off in the 62nd minute, but a decent showing from Joffrey in that game. Charlie Crew started for Doncaster in their game against Wimbledon. They lost 2-1. He played 68 minutes in that game in a relatively okay game, but pretty quiet by a lot of standards in that match, but still a decent performance by them involved. Interesting to see Mateo Joseph dropping to the Mallorca bench. We watched the game against Espanyol and kind of predicted that might just happen. The conditioning's probably not where it needs to be for him to be the best he can possibly be at this moment in time, so we'll see what happens with him over the next couple of weeks. And Max Verber, not surprising to anybody, is currently out with an injury, so we'll no return date for him, but we'll keep track of these guys as the season moves on. But we'll move on to our final story of the day, and it's a bit of information coming out around a target that Leeds were linked with heavily during the beginning of the window. That's Nicola Krstovic, and during the beginning of this summer transfer window, Krstovic moved to Atalanta at the end of the summer transfer window. He scored a brace against Torino this weekend and was labelled as an undisputed star by Italian outlet Quotidiano di Puglia, who also now claim that Leeds did everything in their power to try and sign the 25-year-old at the beginning of the summer window, with apparently some hope at one point that they could get that deal done. Corella della Sport have also backed that up, and they say that it was the player himself who told Leeds United that he wasn't interested in a move to the club, and he wanted to stay in Italy and compete towards the top end of Serie A for trophies there. The other reason that is said for the deal not going through is the fact that Leeds didn't offer what Lecce valued the player at the end of the summer window. Atalanta gave Lecce exactly the fee that they were looking for. If DCL and Lucas Mecic can do what we need them to do this season, then Leeds will have no regrets about moving away from Krstovic this summer. But it is interesting to get the full picture on the situation now that the transfer window is closed. He's a very good striker. He's 25 years of age. Does fit the model of what Leeds were looking for during the summer. Coming into his prime years, a very big, aggressive striker. Has a hell of a whack of a ball on him as well. A player I would have quite liked Leeds to have, and maybe in the future it will go back. But according to the report, Atalanta see huge sell-on value in Krstovic as well. They reckon he's going to go on to be one of the top strikers in European football, and it'll take time to see if that does happen. But it's interesting to see, again, the Italian media saying that Leeds were very much interested in Krstovic. Leeds did try and get a deal done, and as one outlet is saying, did everything in their power to try and get a deal done. And at one point it looked like it could happen. That probably was where a lot of the noise was at the start of the window. Didn't happen. We moved on, and right now everything's working out fine for Leeds. Let's hope that continues going into the weekend's game against Bournemouth, then Spurs, then we've got an international break again, and we'll see how we get on. But that's it for me today, folks. Back at 7 o'clock tonight for the full match review and the podcast for this week. You can check that out later on, live at 7 p.m. Myself, Paul and Jerry. Outside that, I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.